This program is brought to you by QBird, Pittsburgh's source for LGBTQ plus news and community information. To learn more about QBird, check out their website at qburg.com. That's QBURGH.com. From the PEP Radio Newsroom for February 19th, these are stories that we are covering. A federal judge on Tuesday questioned President Donald Trump's motives for issuing an executive order that calls for banning transgender troops from serving in the U.S. military, describing a portion of the directive as frankly ridiculous. U.S. District Judge Anna Rice indicated that she won't rule before early March on whether to temporarily block the Trump administration from enforcing the order, which plaintiffs' attorneys have said illegally discriminates against transgender troops. But her questions and remarks during Tuesday's hearing suggest that she is deeply skeptical of the administration's reasoning for ordering a policy change. Rice also lauded the service of several active duty troops who sued to block the order. If you were in a foxhole, would you care about these individuals' gender identity? The judge asked a government attorney who answered that it would not be a primary concern of mine. Trump's January 27th order claims the sexual identity of transgender service members conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life, and is harmful to military readiness. It requires Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to issue a revised policy. 6 transgender people who are active duty service members and 2 others seeking to join the military sued to block the Trump administration from enforcing the order. In a court filing, plaintiffs' lawyers argued that Trump's order openly expresses hostility and constitutionally impermissible animus toward transgender people. Rice said the order's language smears thousands of transgender troops as dishonest, dishonorable, and undisciplined. She asked Justice Department Attorney Jason Lynch, how is that anything other than showing animus? I don't have an answer for you, Lynch responded. No, you have an answer. You just don't want to give it, the judge shot back. Trump's order also says that use of pronouns that inaccurately reflect an individual's sex is inconsistent with a government policy to establish high standards for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity. Rice said it's frankly ridiculous to suggest that pronoun usage could impact the military readiness of the U.S. Armed Forces, because it doesn't. Because any common sense, rational person would understand that it doesn't, said Rice, who was nominated by President Joe Biden, a Democrat. Rice peppered Lynch for several hours with questions about the executive order. They disagreed on whether the language of the executive order explicitly bans transgender people from serving in the military. In other news, we warn in advance that this next story is violent and gruesome. Authorities in upstate New York say a transgender man who was killed after being subjected to weeks of torture knew his captors, who all identified as LGBTQ+, including one he lived with at Patty's Lodge, a welfare motel where the torture is alleged to have taken place. Last week, the body of Sam Nordquist was found in a field in the Finger Lakes region after his family reported him missing. His assailants were known to each other, identified as LGBTQ+, and at least one of the defendants lived with Sam in the time period leading up to the instant offense. A joint statement from the Ontario County District Attorney and the New York State Police released on Sunday said, those facts suggest Nordquist's torture and murder were not a hate crime, authorities said. Nordquist's family said he bought a round-trip plane ticket from Minnesota to New York in September after he met a woman in July. He was due to fly back in October, but never got on the plane, they told the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. Nordquist's sister, Kayla, said the family reported him missing on February 9th after they failed to reach him, and it appeared his phone was shut off. State police detectives who began investigating Nordquist's disappearance eventually uncovered evidence indicating that he was subjected to prolonged physical and psychological abuse. His remains were found last week. Our investigation has revealed a deeply disturbing pattern of abuse that ultimately resulted in Sam's tragic death. Captain Kelly Swift of the State Police's Bureau of Criminal Investigation said at a media briefing, "In my 20-year law enforcement career, this is one of the most horrific crimes I have ever investigated." Captain Swift called it beyond depraved. Ontario County District Attorney Jim Ritz told WHAM that Nordquist's murder is the most horrific case his department has ever prosecuted. That's the news at this hour. Be sure to download the Live 365 app, and if you are watching the PEP Radio YouTube channel, click that subscribe button. Let's get back now to more music here on PEP Radio.